Shield's at 40%.
Bottom line it for me. The central mass of the broad dwarf has a density that will crush the entire ship. Surrounding that is a volatile gas cloud.
How volatile?
Enterprise will need to lower its electrical output. Primary and auxiliary systems need to go offline. We will lose sensors, optics, long-range communications, and most importantly...
Trekcast.
God could have just built you a new car.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. There's
I
really
need one of
nothing
those industrial replicators. That's what I need.
Yeah. I was at a place a couple weeks back. They do 3D printing, but with metal, which is essentially, if you've ever seen welding, then just think of welding as like a blown-up version of it, and it's automated with the robot holding on to the welder. And that's really all you're doing when you're 3D printing metal, is you're literally just welding giant globs of steel together. It's just a big welder. So now it's a little more technical than just that, but that's essentially what it is. And so these guys they're building up these specialized cones. I can't tell you what they're for, but they're building up cones. And then we go in and scan.
I have clearance. You can tell me.
We're live on YouTube, so no. But but anyway, they go in and build these cones up, and then they use my stuff to go in and scan sections of it, and then compare it back to their CAD model and make sure it's okay. And if it's not, then they can actually see the areas they've got to go and machine and correct or smooth out or rebuild up more. Yeah. And so make it an automated process. It's kind of slick. So
they have like giant 3D printers that use cement, that use concrete.
Sure.
And they basically, when I look at them, I think of like, it's a giant cake decorator is what it is. They're just like...
There are cake decorators who use 3D printers that just print out the chocolate or the icing or the whatever.
Bet.
You bet.
Oh my God, we're getting so lazy.
We are. There's actually a company down in Texas that 3D prints houses.
Yeah.
And they just
I've
bring
seen stuff like that.
This whole gantry just over the pad, and the pad gets poured normally, and then they bring this gantry over the top of the pad, and it just squirts out the 3D printed house. And they actually use laser trackers from our company to position it correctly so it doesn't get off in its motion. But what's crazy about that company is and what people don't realize is when you 3D print a house, it's not actually concrete. It's a little different than that, and it's got all kinds of stuff in it that apparently 2 or 3 years later, every bug on this planet loves to eat. So you're welcome.
Oh, really?
So you're welcome. There's your $350,000 3D printed house. That's the size of a garage, and bugs love eating it from scratch.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah, you just printed them a cake.
What are you hoping that we can 3D print in like the next 5 to 10 years that we can't right now?
You give it enough time, you'll be able to 3D print everything. I think the biggest thing for me, though, and really right now you can, it's just a matter of economies of scale and whether it's worth it or not. I think what the next thing that needs to happen with all this 3D printing technology is to be able to put multiple things together while you're doing it at the same time. That's the next evolution of it. Because right now, when you're 3D printing, you're either doing one type of material, or in very sophisticated ones, you're doing 2 or 3 different types of material. And there's really no coloration to them, so it's not very decorative. You have to go and you know make it look pretty afterwards, or do some sort of finishing application to it. But I think what's really going to be nice, and we can 3D print circuit boards at this point. We just can't 3D print transistors and capacitors and all the other things that go onto those boards. But we can 3D print the actual board itself and all of the connected lines, if you will, on the PCB board. So we're pretty close to getting to a point where if you can just integrate that and the chip fab side of it, where they put these things together, if you can just integrate those two machines, then you could 3D print your motherboard, you could 3D print your card, the whole 9 yards. That's not that far away. What I'm getting at is this whole PC right here. Just hit a button and come back 42 hours later, and the whole damn thing's ready to go. It's fully assembled. It's printed together. Yeah. All the connections are stable.
I mean, I want the same thing.
Yeah.
But I want a taco, not a computer.
Welcome to
we
Trekcast.
We can 3D print pizzas right now. There's MIT guys do that.
Yeah, except they taste like circuit boards. So, you know.
Yeah. Maybe. And yes, you can 3D print guns. I've done it. All you're missing is something to actually
He's kidding. He's kidding.
That's so illegal.
No, it's not illegal. So you're just missing something as far as the
Idaho.
connection of when the hammer comes down. But that's just a piece of flint or whatever. I forget what they call that. But there's a specific little thing you can just get.
Stop telling people how to make guns.
Sorry. Let's 3D print bazookas. That's totally legal. All right, everybody.
Or 3D print bazooka gum. That's pretty
Trekcast. Sorry, I hit the button. I didn't know you.
It's all fine.
Dan's looking for helicopters.
Yeah.
Speaking of looking for helicopters, we lost Ray Liotta this week.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. That sucks.
That does suck.
Yep. Well, welcome to Trekcast, ladies and gentlemen, the galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast. With us, a blessing to humanity himself, Little Ocho, Daniel Reyes. And, of course, coming to us from a van down by the river, Dan, the Space Ranger Lombardo.
I like the low angle, authoritative angle on that. So everything
like I'm looking down on all of you, on Chad, on Little Ocho, on the listeners. I'm looking down on Star Trek.
Oh, Lord. You're going to make me cough.
Dan has come from the mountaintop to give us his wisdom.
Yes, that's what it is. He's come down from on high.
That's right.
All right. We got a lot to go over this week. We had another excellent episode of Strange New Worlds. It just keeps clicking along. Oh, I love that episode. That episode was good.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it, yeah. So, and, of course, all the news, feedback, and everything else. We have a little bit different format this week. You won't be able to tell because we're still going to be
something different.
Yeah, we're still going to be bullshitting 2/3 of the time. So that's never going to change.
We're going to be bullshitting 4/3 of the time. Let's be honest.
Very true.
Hey, I actually managed to accomplish something in between last week and this week that I've been trying to do for this show for, 4 months. And that's put those letters up on the wall behind me.
That's nice.
I see that.
Yeah, where'd you get those?
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby, $3 a letter at Hobby Lobby. And I just painted them white and put them up there with... what is it? Those little command strip things, with the little Velcro deals and the glue on each side. That's all it's holding those up. I put up the T and the R and waited a week to see if they'd fall down, and they didn't, so I just put the rest up just like that. So,
nice.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very cool.
Are they actually level, or did you figure out the angle so that it would look level on camera?
I literally just stuck them up there, and see that pegboard back there has got holes in it, so I made sure they were all aligned with the bottom hole because the pegboard is straight.
You know what the worst part is? 5 minutes ago, he's talking about laser levels and all this fancy shit that his company has, and he literally licked his thumb, looked at the wall, and just stuck them on. So,
well, pegboards are the paper of shelving.
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
Some things you care about, some things you don't.
I'm glad you don't care about the show, Chad. That's basically what you just inferred.
Basically what I just said. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Every Sunday when I get on and do this, I'm always kind of like, it's a Sunday morning, and it's like I want to just sit on the deck or whatever. But then we start doing this, and I'm reminded of why we do this and how much I love you two guys. It's always fantastic. I have so much fun with you guys.
Ditto.
Yeah, it's fun.
Daniel's like, yeah. It's fun. I'm in northern Idaho. There's nothing else for me to do than to talk to you two guys.
Yeah. I do live in the second most boring town in Idaho.
Yeah, you do. You do. What's the first most boring town?
It's like some town in southern Idaho, way far away from Boise.
In southern Idaho, so close to Utah.
Yeah. So
the closer you get to Utah, the more fun gets sucked out of your life, I would assume.
That's the Utah state motto, isn't it? No fun here.
Nice.
Yeah. If anyone's watching from Utah, let us know what the state motto is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hipster.
If anyone's watching from Utah, they just turned it off. So they're not gonna let us know anything.
Our two listeners that are Mormon. No, I'm kidding. No, if you hipster, Bronson's from Utah. Oops.
Whoops.
Bye, Bronson. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah. Now we're going to go insult the Canadians. Hipster Spock, you can listen to it by just getting into the live show voice channel. You don't have to be sitting and listening to it on air. That way you can get it real time. So we have lots of ways to watch and listen to the show. You can get into the live show voice channel and just listen to us. And then, of course, you could watch us over on YouTube Live, and we're working on how to get it to where it just embeds right on the website. You can just go to trekcast.com every Sunday at this time and watch us right there. Don't even have to go to YouTube.
We're working on that.
So who's listening from Utah?
Bronson is.
Bronson. Oh,
he says it's boring, so we're correct.
Yeah.
So
is he Is he listening alone, or both of his wives listening with him?
You guys are excommunicated now.
Yeah. We're never going to the Mormon church, Dan.
No. They're never going to let us pull out the hat, put the all-seeing eye in it, circle it around, wait to pull it out like it's bingo
night. I don't even know
night.
what that means.
I don't know.
Something
I saw on Big Love when it was on HBO. That's all I know of that whole, which is totally, I'm sure, correct because it was Bill Pullman and
it's a reality show. Of course, it's correct.
It was totally correct. Nothing was made up at all.
Nothing.
All right, so before we get into this week's news segment and alienate some more I love our listeners, this week's episode is
news.
Also brought to you by Soylent. Listeners. Here we go. Let's go right into the news.
Attention all hands. It's time for Star Trek news.
Chaz says no more Mormon Tabernacle Choir for you.
There you go. All right. Let me ask you this, guys, because I couldn't decide what should be my lead story, so I'll ask you this way. Do you guys want the good news or do you want the bad news?
Oh, hit us with the bad news first. Leave on a high note. That's my opinion.
All right. We'll do the bad news. So first news story comes to us from TrekMovie.com, and I am sorry for our friends over in Europe, but Destination Star Trek London has been canceled. Yes, that is the bad news.
I saw that.
So it was just announced this week that they are canceling Star Trek London, which was slated for September 30th through October 2nd.
Really?
They instead they have decided to only make Star Trek Germany, which will be in Dortmund. Germany will be the sole European Star Trek event, like official, and that is also this year. That'll be from September 23rd through the 25th. That will also include 19 celebrity guests and a reunion of the Voyager crew, but don't know much more about that.
Huh.
So that's pretty bad. They're shutting it down.
Yeah, I mean that stinks. That stinks for our friends in the UK. But I mean, canceling that but still having one in Germany. That's like saying we're canceling the New York show, but the New Jersey show is still on. Right.
Right.
Not quite that
it
close.
It's much easier to travel
enough.
around.
You can get there. I mean, you can literally go by train. So
yeah.
The entire train. You can drive the whole way there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So we still have a show in
So it's not
overseas.
horrible news, but you know, it's bad.
Did they give a reason why?
I don't see a reason why. Typically, when it's something like that, it's either logistics, were just pretty bad, or honestly, ticket sales. So
usually,
it's
see
hard
quite
to
a
say.
few people on online talking about going to the one in London. So
Yeah, I mean,
I can't imagine
it's
ticket
very
sales.
popular.
Well,
It's very popular over there. That's why it's surprising.
Well, I mean, Trek itself, Paramount themselves are starting to make their own official shows everywhere, and so you would imagine that now did Destination Trek was that a privately ran one like the one in Vegas is, or was it done by Paramount? And is the one in Germany is done by Paramount? That much I know.
So I'm looking right now. I'm looking at their official website because it wasn't clear on the story website.
I wonder if that's more of what's going on. I mean, if Paramount's trying to run their own conventions, essentially, just like they did the one we went to in Chicago. That was their first time doing it, and it kind of showed a little bit, but that's okay.
So the Germany one is organized by a separate company, but it is licensed by Paramount. So
okay. That makes
So
that makes more sense. Maybe they had a licensing agreement, because obviously the one in Vegas had a licensing agreement for the longest time, but doesn't anymore.
Yep.
So, and maybe that's why they did. So, I mean, from that standpoint, it kind of makes sense if Paramount's wanting to consolidate all of their conventions into the ones that they're running until their licensing runs out, and then do it themselves. Whatever.
Now, as kind of a make good, there's going to be the London Film and Comic Con, which is going to be held July 8th through the 10th. They're planning to hold some sort of special Star Trek tribute as a make good. So, but I mean, that's a different time of year, although a lot of the same guests are going to be there. So it's kind of like you're getting 2 for 1 there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, too
All
bad,
right.
but also understand. I kind of get what they're doing.
Yeah. Our next news story comes to us from Geek Tyrant, which is a great name for a website. We're learning something kind of cool here. The scrapped Star Trek Nemesis sequel that would have been, quote, the Justice League of Star Trek.
Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah. So, looks like after Nemesis was released in 2002, Brent Spiner and John Logan, who was the screenwriter, basically came up together to work on a script for the sequel to Nemesis.
Huh.
And the idea was they would come out with some convoluted idea that Picard needed to basically time travel around and go get all the main characters from different Star Trek seasons and shows at that point. So from DS9, Voyager, they even were planning to go to Enterprise and get Bakula and somehow gather all these people together to fight a threat. What that threat was, we don't know. You know, why you need so many captains in one room, I don't know.
Dollars.
Why not just go? Why not just go get? Yeah, I was gonna say, why not just go get the greatest Starfleet officer in history, O'Brien? Problem solved.
Right. I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Get them all into the room and just have them talk about their feelings.
That's right. So yeah, we don't know much else other than that. Yeah. So they do say that some of this storyline was eventually put into the IDW comic, Star Trek: The Q Conflict. So those comics are out now. You can go check those out.
Yeah.
But that's not all of the story. So I thought some people would dig that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to having something like that. I mean, make it make sense, but I'm not opposed to having something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, they probably can't do the whole story that they imagined because much of what they had in mind has been negated by Picard.
Right.
You know, I'm sure they had some sort of Data's coming back storyline in there, which you can't do that now. I mean, they had to scrap a bunch of comics when Picard came out. They had all those Countdown comics in 2009, which established that Data's personality reemerged in the B4 model, and now he's the captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah,
that obviously
it didn't happen.
Did not happen in canon. Well, it did, and then they
undid it.
Uncannoned it.
Yeah,
so I think I have an idea who would be the large looming threat and why it makes sense.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So you want somebody who hates the Federation, right? Who feels wronged by it.
Okay.
And who has been wronged no more than one Alexander Rozhenko, who the Federation has taken his father away, has turned his father's love from him, and so now Alexander is going to kill them all.
Alexander has to travel to different times to collect all the stones. And,
right. He's going around collecting all the villains, so he gets Khan. He gets,
he wants to wipe out half of Starfleet's captains.
Cybok.
Yeah. He gets Cybok, Khan, Harry Mudd.
Yeah, all of them. Just an army of tribbles.
Instead of this movie, what we got as far as all of the Trek stars coming back together in one show was General Snoop Dogg fighting alien plants.
There you go. There you go.
We did get that. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I never watched it.
I watched part of it, and I meant to go back and watch some more, and it was just so stupid fun. I just couldn't do it. And then I forgot about it, and then someone posted it somewhere and goes, "Hey, have you guys heard about this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we've heard about that." And I was like, I gotta watch that again. Oh well.
Nice.
It's on YouTube.
All right, well, let me get to my last story since we're doing rampant speculation. So here we go. Our last news story comes to us from TrekMovie.com, and Terry Matalas, one of the 80 million producers on Star Trek Picard, has dropped some nuggets about Picard season 3. So here we go. He went on Twitter recently and was just answering fan questions.
Oh, he's
because
been fired
I don't know, maybe he was drunk and high. I don't know, but he was doing that, and he says, are we going to get a new character, a new villain for season 3? Yes, we are. On top of that, it's going to be played by an actor that you have seen a million times, someone they've always wanted to work with. Quote, "You are not ready." So
it's Tim Roth. Okay, cool.
So my head went immediately to Tom Hanks. Because Tom Hanks has been wanting to be in Star Trek forever.
No way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He was
there's no
supposed
way
to be
he's
Zephyr
gonna...
Cochrane.
Yeah, I remember
Huh,
that.
I didn't
remember
know
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
Somebody
No,
asked him.
I do, because
Yeah,
he
he'd be
you know, we've
fantastic.
seen him on Deep Space Nine, we've seen him on Voyager, we've seen him on Enterprise. You know, he's never been on TNG.
We need an episode of Strange New Worlds where he plays 14 different characters. You don't realize it, but all 14 of those characters die in that episode. That's what we need.
They need they need to do, like, he plays a geneticist who is different, like, you know, genetic manipulation, and he's combining strains of DNA from different races, and, you know, he's doing eugenic stuff, but not just humans. He's you know, mixing Romulans with Klingons, and throw a little this in there, and because of that, everyone in his facility that works for him is a half-assed clone of him. but some have ridges, some have antennas, some have 3 eyes, but they're all Jeffrey Combs.
Some are from the north.
Yeah, some are from the north, some are from the south. That's my pitch. So Paramount, if you're listening, once again, the episode writes itself.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we do know Terry has answered some of these questions. Specifically, it is a brand new actor. It's nobody that's been in Trek before. And then when he was specifically asked, is it Jeffrey Combs? The answer was flat out no. So, as much fun as that would be, no.
Thank you for letting me go for you know, 5
I
minutes
tried
straight.
to, but you kept going. I tried to talk, and you just kept going.
There is no stopping.
You gotta give me the Dave Coulier. You gotta
cut it
out.
Yeah. Terry was also asked, will we get at least one scene with all 7 TNG cast members together?
17?
So it's not just Picard. No, all 7.
Oh,
Sorry,
I thought you
one
said
scene
17,
with
and I'm
all
like,
7.
17? What
Yeah.
the hell? They even get
Yeah.
the lady with the... What was the lady who spilled the coffee on Picard? That
Sonia
one
Gomez.
episode? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we will at least get one scene with all of them together.
That's cool.
All of the characters or all of the actors?
It says all 7 of the characters.
So that means Data's coming back somehow.
I guess. Maybe he's a holodeck program now, and they're all in the holodeck with him.
Or they recast Data.
Yeah.
Or more time travel.
Oh,
More
Lord.
time travel.
Lord, can we just... No.
Or flashbacks.
And then a couple days ago on Twitter, LeVar Burton posted a picture of himself outside the Warner Brothers studio lot, and he says, doing a lot today, doing ADR, additional dialogue recording for Picard. And that was of 3 days ago. So,
Okay.
yeah. So there we go. That's the news.
All right.
Awesome. So with our change in format, that means we're going to go directly into the topic, and we're going to wait for feedback till after the topic, because I know a lot of guys
we should probably
want to
explain
talk.
why this
Yeah.
is. Yeah, let me explain why that is.
Go for it.
So we kind of noticed that a lot of the feedback tended to be about the main topic anyways. So it just feels like it's a better fit to do the feedback after the main topic. So then, you know, spoilers have been done and we can all kind of talk about the latest episode freely. So we're just going to try it, see how this fits. If it flows better, great, we'll keep it. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the old way. But let's just see how it goes.
All right, with that, we'll go right into the topic. Maybe not.
Maybe not right into it.
Just
awkwardly into it.
Do you want me to do it? I could just do it.
Yeah, do it, Ants.
Do it.
Talking about Star Trek in this week's topic. Talking about the Star Trek in this week's topic.
I love the acoustic rendition.
I always get the huh in the wrong spot.
That gets snaps.
Trekcast unplugged.
Yes.
We'll fix it for next week. Don't worry.
I mean,
we'll fix it in post.
It played 2 seconds ago.
Nice. All right, well, let's talk about the topic.
All right, so the topic, of course, is Strange New Worlds. The episode was Memento Mori, written by Davey Perez and Bo DeMayo, because like he likes mayo. I don't know.
It's his favorite.
This is first time for all these guys. Like that's the first time these guys have been that writing team. That's the first time Dan Louis has done Louis, like the soup pizza. First time he's done the directing. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Let's just keep going.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, keep moving. Anyway, so this is episode 4, season 1, obviously, and the overview here is that the Enterprise is trying to go bring some stuff to a Federation colony that needs it, some sort of air filter, I guess, that's also nuclear powered. So that's really interesting that we need a nuclear powered
Good air filters are.
air filter. I mean, yeah, okay.
That's what I've got attached to my furnace is a nuclear powered air filter.
Yeah. Come to find out that the colony's been attacked by the Gorn. We get to see a little fight ensue with the Gorn, and they try to rescue passengers, and all kinds of things happen as they try to warp around a black hole. So that is the clean and dirty synopsis of the episode without giving too much away. Someone had told me before I even watched this episode that it was very much a mashup of like a horror movie and The Wrath of Khan. And so I was excited to watch it.
Wait to tell you guys what
Just
they
from
said
that.
on the Will Wheaton show about this.
Yeah, you want to get into that right now? You can. I don't. Whatever.
Sure, because I suffer for the people.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. And this last episode, wow, was it suffering. Anyways.
The Will Wheaton episode, yeah.
Yeah, the Will Wheaton episode was very much, the most Will Wheaton episode I've seen yet. They
Was
basically
he so excited he needed to go and get some diapers?
It wasn't just him. They were all so excited about this episode. They were all, oh my God. So they had one of the writers, like the main writer of this episode specifically, and then they had the girl who plays Singh. What's her name? Liana, whatever. She was there, and it threw me off because she has like super long hair in real life.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's why it's all
I was like,
braided
wait,
up
that's
the way
not
it
her.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it really threw me off. Anyways, so they basically wanted to make this like balanced terror, like those old school sub-fighting episodes.
Yep.
To inspire them, they watched that episode a lot. They watched a few of the Tholian Web a lot. They watched Hunt for Red October, K-19, The Widowmaker, all those kind of sub-shows. He said that in the writer's room, there was a day where they just watched a bunch of those movies and episodes just back to back to back to kind of glean ideas from there.
This makes me want to be a writer so bad. Because basically what they just said is we watched a bunch of stuff, picked out things that made sense, and slapped it all together and made an episode. God, that sounds easy.
Yeah.
Get paid that kind of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's your 6-figure paycheck. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what they did and fully admitted to that. Another thing that was kind of interesting is Sing, was it Sing?
Sing.
Leon
Nunyan Singh.
Yeah, Leon. Okay. So they were asking her about the mind meld because in this episode, there's also a mind meld with Spock.
Yep.
What was hilarious is she said she didn't realize what big of a deal that was because she wasn't a Trekkie going into this.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So she read that in the script and thought, oh, that's weird. I wonder what that's about. Whatever. And never looked into it. Just went into the episode and did the scene. And then later, the producers and some of the other actors explained to her what a big deal that was.
Yeah.
And so she was saying that, like, oh, I probably should have known about that. But then, like, as she's recording this Will Wheaton show, she thinks about it and goes, no, it's better that I didn't know because my character didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no, that makes
so
sense.
it's a more authentic response.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
there you go. That was the main parts.
So one thing I mentioned at the well, I guess that's at the I can mention this at the end of it, but the Enterprise takes a beating. The Enterprise takes a huge beating, and it's more than just they got shot at a few times or whatever else, but they take on a ton of structural damage. But
Yeah.
what I really love, my biggest takeaway from this episode, though, and what I really loved about it, again, was Pike. Pike was just a perfect captain in this episode.
Yeah.
Every time someone would give him a suggestion on what they want to do, and then someone would be like, "That's a really bad idea. This is what would happen. It'd be really bad." Pike likes, yeah, let's do that. So it just for those few times he did like 3 different times, and every time he did it, I kept getting these flashbacks at Galaxy Quest and Tim Allen. When everybody was like, "Oh my God, if we do that, we're all going to die," and he's like, "Yep, that's what we're doing. Go."
So it raises an interesting question. What if Worf served on this Enterprise? Worf's entire function on the D was to suggest something and then have it completely ignored.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would be a strange dynamic if he was here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Shrax was on there. Can we kill them? Can we? Yeah,
I've been good this month. I've been good this month. Can I fire a torpedo, please? I love how they just literally drop a torpedo right on the ship.
Yeah.
They turned the Enterprise into a bomber.
And we're just going to run it, do a bombing strafing run, and we're just going to drop it on them. Now, the only part about that scene I don't like is why did they have to mess with the torpedo design to make it look like it was from Tron?
Well, I do like that they explained the science of it, too, because they were like, they didn't say like, oh, in space it would just float and sit there. They're like, no, because of the gravity well, it's going to drop the torpedo down.
Yeah. Unlike in Star Wars, when bombers in space with no gravity just drop.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
talk about
came
back.
But no, there's like 3 separate scenes where he does this, and it's like he does the exact opposite. So this the question that brings up to me though is he doing this in those situations knowing, because he knows he's not gonna die, and his only worry is if he's gonna kill someone else? Or is he doing those because he just would have done that no matter what? Like, at what point is he making some of these pretty risky decisions because he knows right now is not his time to die?
See, I think that needs to be explored, and I think you can explore that in future episodes.
I think you can.
Other thing I would like to see is, like you guys said, the Enterprise is beat up right now. Are we going to see that next episode, or is it going to be just fine, like Voyager style, and then we just move on?
There should at the very least be some, and I love the opening log entries and all. I mean, man, that's just like such a breath of fresh air. So this one we get from Sing, I believe, but for this week's, and it's nice that they're moving them around and it's different people. It's not always Pike. It could always be Pike. That's fine. More Pike is fine with me. But anyway, they need to at the very least have at the beginning of the next episode. At least, if they're going to gloss over the rest of it, have a log entry talking about how much time it took or whatever they had to do to repair it, or maybe the whole episode will start
since
with
our
them.
last encounter. Yeah,
maybe not that long, but something, right? Maybe the next episode is they're sitting at space dock somewhere ready to leave, I don't know. Well, the next episode might not even take place on the Enterprise.
Back to what you were saying about the decisions he's making and that and his actions, and I don't think it's, hey, I know I'm not going to die tomorrow because I'm going to die 10 years from now, so I can afford to be reckless. I don't think that's what's going on, because, even though he knows what his fate is going to be, he also still possesses free will. Okay? He could phaser himself in the head right now, and what's destined to happen to him in 10 years won't happen, okay, because he has free will. So I think he's actually acting the other way. I think he has added stress on him because he knows I'm responsible for the safety of every person on this ship.
Right.
But in a way, I am also responsible for the safety of these 9 kids or whatever that I've never even met yet. I have to make sure that I survive the next 10 years, because if I don't, they won't.
Right. Who's going to save them?
I kind of look at it. I kind of look at it that way.
That's a good point. I like that. Because we did have a scene from the previous episode.
All of that.
You can explore all that.
To be explored.
And we did have a scene 2 episodes ago where he's sitting in his ready room or whatever, looking at their pictures of them as kids. They're still kids at this point. They're not old enough to be in the academy yet. So,
and we may find out that that's why he just wanted to hide on Earth. I have to make sure I survive the next 10 years. I'm at home in my cabin. I'm safe here. Nothing is going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of that is, well, if I'm at home in my cabin, serving Starfleet out there, and I'm not, even though I'm alive, I'm not going to be there to save them. So I guess ultimately I do have to go back out into space. So all of this is stuff that they could totally explore, and I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope they do too. There was a preview for the next episode on the Will Wheaton show. There was not much to it. It looks like Spock is having some sort of crisis, like a mental crisis. It shows him with what's her name, T'Pring. Okay. And they're about to fight each other. But it definitely looked like it was like in his subconscious. It doesn't look like that was really happening.
Is it
because
does it look like it's taking place on Vulcan?
Well, it looked like that, but like at one point she says, "Okay, you're gonna fight," and then he sees, like, he turns into like human Spock versus Vulcan Spock, and it's yeah. So it's definitely like all in his head.
So it's like Superman 3 when Clark Kent fought Superman in the junkyard.
That's right, and Vulcan Spock is just drunk and angry with the giant beard. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I had one gripe about this episode. I loved this episode. I loved almost everything about this episode. I loved that we didn't see the Gorn.
Yeah.
That
they didn't need to show them at all. Yep.
That they left it a mystery.
Smart
and
move.
I hope they come back again. I hope maybe they're the big bad for this series that are always lurking, off to the side.
They did say that on the Will Wheaton show.
Okay.
They said specifically they wanted it to be like Jaws. That's why you don't see the Gorn right away. Yep. That it's scary if you don't see them at first, and eventually you will. But also, yes, they are going to be a big bad this season. Not the big bad, but one of them. So they will be back.
Okay. So I've said before, I mean, they have technical advisors on these shows. They have science advisors on these shows, hence explaining why you can drop a torpedo. It's the gravity, from the
brown dwarf.
The brown dwarf. Yeah. So, and I've said this before, I wish Starfleet is a military organization. I wish they would have a military advisor who would point out things to them and say, this is right, that's not right. And even just like a tactical advisor. So
there you go.
From someone who has gone into a dark room with weapons drawn and tactically cleared it, the last thing I want to do is put a flashlight on each of my shoulders, letting the enemy know directly in between those two lights, that's where my head is. Go ahead and shoot for that. That's where you aim. I watched that and I was just cringing.
Yeah.
I was just cringing the whole time.
Dan, would you quit Space Force to go do that for them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if they are listening, yes, I will be your tactical advisor. Please.
There you go.
Call me.
But you have to be able
I'll
to
make
see.
this the YouTube clip or put it on social media.
Yeah.
And hopefully they see it. So at least for sure they see that part to let them know you're available.
You have to be able to see these characters though as they're doing so if the lighting is low and all of that, I mean that's just a fact. It's just for looks.
Details.
Yeah, details, right? So,
yeah.
But no, I get it. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Neither does I'm going to have a flashlight in one hand and my gun in the other as I try to point in rooms and doing that kind of stuff. I mean, that doesn't make any sense either. Hey, shoot the weapon out of my hand.
That absolutely makes sense. But anyway.
Okay.
We'll argue another time.
You can argue that with another time.
Yeah. the technical advisor will show you why you're wrong in a minute.
Okay. Cool. It never made sense to me. I never could figure that out. But anyway. The only real gripe I had with the episode was the whole Morse code flashing lights. That's how the Gorn communicate with one another. That seems a little archaic that they can't talk to one another if they're not in visual range with flashing lights. So big between the ships. That seems kind of, for as technically as advanced as they are, that seems kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a little weak.
Yeah.
That was a little weak. I mean, they could have worked it in a different way that, he decoded their language. It's a series of clicks. You know, we know they make a clicking sound.
Right.
You know, he could have
that would have made more sense.
Yep, he could have decoded the clicking sound, and then you know, the shuttle crew, Spock figured out how to piggyback on their signal, and we're gonna send our own clicks and click, 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 and boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that would have made more sense.
It's still cool though. I mean, it was still a neat little ploy for the shuttlecraft to go and do. That was still kind of fun. So.
And honestly, if their light Morse code is the weakest thing, it was still a really good episode. So
Yeah, exactly.
fine.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's just nitpicking. So,
Yeah.
so getting back to the other things, it's like very different between this whole series so far and any other new Trek that we've gotten. I mean, all the supporting cast, they're just incredible. The pilot is so damn funny. What is her name again? The shaved head on the side.
Ortega.
Ortega. Yeah, I keep thinking of tacos when I think of her.
She's hilarious.
She is hilarious. She is so good.
Yeah.
And she's just that's so much fun.
She's Reno light.
She she is a little bit.
She's snarky
always
like
got, yeah,
that.
she's got the snarky, smart-ass comments, and they're just spot on. They're because they're kind of what you're thinking, right? Oh yeah, sure. Let's just go towards the big brown black hole thing. Let's just go right at it. You bet. Sure. What did she call that? The what? Man, she made this funny little comment about it. Anyway, I had to laugh. I backed it up and played it again. I was laughing so hard I didn't know what happened next.
Yeah.
Sure, let's fly right into the black hole or something like that. I forget what she said. It was pretty.
You
good.
know, and they've got Nurse Chapel basically being a mad scientist in the sick bay. And Dr. Umbega or whatever his name is, it's just like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, psycho lady.
So what I'm enjoying is the way I feel like they're splitting up the crew each episode.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna have a story with these two characters are stuck in the shuttle bay for the whole episode. So we're going to explore the dynamic between those two.
Yep.
Okay. First officer's stuck in sickbay for the whole episode. So we're going to explore the dynamic of those three.
Yep.
And, you know, the first officer's not on the bridge. So now we're going to explore the captain dealing with these people not through the first officer. So I'm enjoying that.
I mean, they would do that on DS9. They would do that on Voyager. Like, you know, it's the Empire Strikes Back. Let's split up the team. Each person's got their thing and that's it.
Yep, they've all done those in the past. Okay, this is a I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Normal formula.
Brian's stuck in this room.
Yeah.
Bashir's over here. How do they get all together to solve the main problem?
It's a normal Trek formula.
You know what?
It's a sci-fi trope.
Worf delivers the baby in 10
Right.
is the example.
Yeah.
It's the cake with mint frosting because it's Troy.
It's a cellular peptide cake.
That's
yeah.
I knew you would know. I knew you would know it.
If I could play the effects, I'd play Nerd Alert right there. But oh well.
There you go. Yeah.
Good episode.
I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Chad stretching. It's good times.
No, I'm sorry. I'm so sore and so stiff. I was in the yard yesterday from about 9 to 9.
Oh man.
So, and I didn't even mow. So that's today.
I gotta do that today.
Anyway, okay. So, any more tidbits about this episode before we go break it out into the feedback with the guys that are in the live studio audience?
So one thing that was kind of interesting on the Will Wheaton show is so they have different segments, right?
Yeah.
And they had one of the segments with the doctor who she's like their science advisor. She's like some sort of physicist, I think, is what she said she was. I think former NASA physicist, but she's now the science advisor for all Star Trek. And so she went through explaining what a brown dwarf star is and how they use that to tell the story and how she went in to the writer's room and kind of explain things to kind of help them out. That was pretty interesting. I hope they do more future segments with her. Typically on the Will Wheaton show, like throughout the week, they'll cut up those segments and issue them alone. So you don't have to watch the whole, that whole episode.
All right.
So if this comes across your YouTube feed, guys, I would definitely watch that. It was pretty interesting. It's only like 2 or 3 minutes. So
they did make the black hole look correct in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked very good. As with everything in this show, or any of the new Trek, they all look fantastic. So
yeah.
The visual effects of the Enterprise once they were able to leave the black hole area with certain spots of it on fire still, and the plating is gone in some areas, and The lighting of the nacelles are kind of coming and going, and yeah, Interstellar did it the first time, Bronson. With the, you're right, it looked just like Interstellar, same black holes from Interstellar. So
yeah,
looked good to me. So they did all that stuff.
Well, should we get into feedback?
Yeah, let's get right into the feedback. No clip for sound, and I'll go through and start unmuting everybody. Yeah, no bookshelf in this one. Let's see.
Let's do one at a time.
Yep, Bronson is first. You are unmuted. What'd you think of this week's show? Any feedback for us?
Well, I love the show in general. This episode was very good, and how awesome is Pike? I love this captain. He's like the second best captain after Picard, in my opinion.
He's definitely up there in the ranking. He's definitely
very high
up there.
for me.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that.
I mean, we still got Cisco on that list.
We do. And Kirk.
Still, Pike is amazing.
Pike is amazing.
He's great.
Yeah.
And the whole cast is great too, from Uhura to Laan. Number one is great, Rebecca Romaine.
I was a little worried about the Uhura replacement, and recasting. I was a little worried about that, but she's done great. She's
great.
So
yeah,
very good.
So
I really like her. The actress is great.
Yep.
Who is some classic villains you'd like to see coming up in future episodes?
It sounds like they might bring back Khan, but I don't know. That's the timeline doesn't make sense so far.
Yeah,
she's like his granddaughter or something.
I mean, I only want Khan if they get Wilder Valmeralda to play him, as from the '70s show.
Yeah,
but he's got to do the Fez voice. Hello, Jackie. As long as he keeps calling Pike Jackie the entire time.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for your feedback, Bronson. I'm going to move on to the next guy. Thank you very much. Let's see. We'll go down. I'm just going straight down the list. Chaz Biz.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. I want a 3D printed corn dog.
There you go. I do love corn dogs. That's a great call.
That shouldn't be too bad. You don't even need the stick for it, right? So it's just cellular peptides with bread.
You do particle board with the stick too in the middle.
So here's the question though: is a corn dog a sandwich?
It's a sandwich on a stick.
That is a great question.
It's a sandwich on a stick because it's just lunch meat in a tube form.
It's a stickwich.
Stickwich. It's a Monte Cristo. It's a Monte Cristo. If you sprinkle flour or what is it? Powdered sugar on it. It's a Monte Cristo.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know what it is. It's delicious.
That's what it is.
That's all that counts.
I never thought of that. Just drinking powdered sugar and have a little jam and stick it in there. Do that at the state fair. That make money.
Oh yeah, just more calories.
Yeah, it's more calories.
Keep adding those at the state fair.
Deep fried Milky Ways.
Yeah,
those are awesome.
Well, deep fried anything. It was like when they did deep fried butter. That's going too far. So.
Deep fried butter.
Yeah, little pop things. They
do that.
Yeah.
So, what'd you think of the episode?
I liked it. It wasn't my favorite episode.
Okay.
I'm getting used to the crew.
Okay.
I almost think they're going to pair up Uhura and Hemmer together more often.
Yeah, that's a good combo.
Because when they did that callback at the beginning of the episode, they kind of had her and him talking on episode 2.
Yeah.
And so I almost think maybe they'll have a buddy relationship. Like maybe they're like that O'Brien and Dr. Bashir.
Yeah.
Buddies like that.
They made reference to her doing some sort of training rotation and moving through different departments. So I think she might be the conduit to how we meet all these other characters and get a little more backstory. And 2 weeks from now, she's doing her rotation in sick bay, and we learn about Mabenga, and maybe she meets.
That's what my wife did in residency. She had to do each different skill level to learn what each different Doctor did. So,
but think about that from a storytelling structure. That's great. Why didn't they do that for Discovery?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, cause okay. Anyway, yeah.
It's all about Mikey.
Tilly on there, and it could have been great. She could have been like on each different parts of the ship, and you get to see different sections, and different characters. So,
Yep. I think that'll be awesome if they do that with her and move her around. I'd love to know more about Minbega. I'd love to know more about Nurse Chapel.
And her being a cadet, it's a perfect fit for her to.
Chapel there.
Who doesn't want to know more about Nurse Chapel? Captain, can I go to sick bay?
For the pipe haircut, so. He's like, "Hello, Nurse Chapel."
I'm sick again.
What is it with this cadet? And every time he goes and works on that console back there, he hurts himself and he has to go to see Nurse Chapel. What's the deal?
Nurse Chapel, my hair hurts.
My hair hurts.
Is there any kind of salve you can put anywhere on me for that pain?
Boy.
Anything.
All right, we just went off the deep end.
It's like, I don't want to ruin my hairline right here. You know,
All right. So, same question for you, Chad. Who do you want to see in the future? What villains or?
On villains?
Yeah.
Well, see, Star Trek doesn't really have villains; they have antagonists, right?
Right.
And so, like, I like to see Klingons, but I want to see the Klingons with the old makeup, not 60s makeup. But
Human Klingons that also look like Romulans, that also look like humans. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, the guys that did the makeup, like, did you ever watch Face Off on Sci-Fi Channel?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, see, those are the two guys, the two judges on there do the makeup for the show. And they were with Michael Westmore each episode. And you're like, okay, why didn't you have Westmore and everybody get together and improve on the makeup, but not completely change the Klingon makeup?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It will be interesting if we see the Klingons.
A completely different species, because what they did on Discovery, they kind of, I don't know. When everybody saw the Klingons, they're like, "What is this?" You know.
Well, those are just the Klingons from the south.
Right. Southern Klingons.
You know what? One thing that they're doing on this show, I feel like they are acknowledging things that they did in the past that maybe weren't the best decisions, and kind of glossing them over and doing things right. And I hope they do the same thing with the Klingons.
Yep.
I hope they come to the conclusion that the Discovery style Klingons was a mistake. Let's just disregard it and fix the mistake.
They could still they could still do that without even acknowledging that it's a mistake, and just simply say that both of those versions of Klingons exist in the same exact universe. Sometimes they look like that, sometimes they don't look like that, because the augment thing that happened didn't affect all of them, right? We talked about that before, genetic drift and yada yada yada.
Yeah,
so, but there's a ways to have your cake and eat it too. But if the Klingons do show up in this season of this show, they need to look like they did in TNG.
Yeah.
Not like they did in Into Darkness or whatever the fuck they did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just like maybe improve, make it look a little bit better, but not like a total shift change where the back of their head looks crazy. It just.
I'm even okay with the change in the design of the ships in Discovery, because those you could just classify those as their ancestral ships, the ships that they just not very many people have anymore, don't fly. Those are just old as shit and whatever, you know. They're ceremonial ships.
Like had the D3 and the just
like
all
that
the
Gorn
design
ship was
stuff.
wild looking.
Yeah, the Gorn ship was wild looking.
Yeah.
It looked like an origami thing.
Oh, the
when it got
Gorn.
crushed.
Yeah, I mean they were like a nemesis this episode. The way they just kept on coming.
Yeah, yeah.
It looked like the claw was coming to get you.
That was it. No,
Yeah, it looked like the claw has spoken. They did. They look like a claw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just go on record for a minute and say how much I enjoyed all of the Gorn puns that are popping up on our Facebook group?
What, Gorn Hub? Gorn Hub was probably my favorite one.
I've missed all
that
these.
one. Gornhub?
I've missed all these. What are these? What are these memes?
For our listeners and viewers who don't know what we're talking about, we had posted in the group that basically change a movie title but add Gorn into it, and so there have been all sorts of Gorn puns in there, and it's been glorious.
I haven't seen any of these. Someone's got to post them over on Discord.
So, some of them have visuals. Some of them, yeah. Gorn on the 4th of July. Natural born killers.
Yeah. I'm finding the list right now.
I mean, come on.
That's pretty good. All the more reason you should be over on the Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Chaz, thank you for your feedback. I'm going to mute you, sir, and move on to the next one. We're going to go into, it's Gentry. How's it? Oh, you're muted, Gentry. You got to unmute yourself. I unmuted you, but you got to unmute yourself. There you go.
There he is.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Oh, wow.
That dulcet tones.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
He's making it serious for us for a moment. How you been, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
I am great. Hope you all are wonderful.
We're doing good.
Yeah.
And hello to everybody in Trekcast land all over the world. Hope everybody is doing great. Let's see. A couple things first. I want to say thank you to Dan for going for the Pike in the cabin look with his beard.
I don't have his hair, though.
You're just missing the top half.
Amazing hair.
Yeah.
When do you get the
hat,
horse?
buddy. It'll be okay.
I'd give my left one to have Captain Pike's hair. Who am I kidding? I'd give them both.
Oh, that's awesome. This episode, the only thing, it was so good. There were just very few things that I could nitpick. And yes, a technical advisor would be wonderful. I have a very old medical background, so there was one thing that just kind of irked me, and that was at the end when Mbega was donating blood to Una in sickbay, and I'm like, do you really believe that putting a needle in a hose in one person and putting it in the other person, you know what kind of blood pressure Mbega would have to have in order? He'd be walking around getting angry just to increase his blood pressure, stabbing himself with something, just to be able to force the blood into her. But
they should have had him jogging in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm here to save your life.
Yeah. Must save Una. The other thing I was going to mention is talking about future stuff. I think there isn't a reason that they gave us Khan without purpose. There has to be a reason why Khan has a purpose. They gave her that name. They put her there. Yeah. I sincerely think there's a possibility that she's going to go to the dark side at some point in the future. She's broody. She's moody. There's a lot of this weird stuff in the background. She's got a sincere anger that just never goes away. I think there's a good chance that we're going to see her doing something unfriendly in the future. Just a guess.
She's clearly stronger than she leads on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. She can open a jar of pickles.
That's right.
Good. Good reference.
Several jars of pickles.
That show comes out in a couple of weeks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I think next week.
Is it next week? Oh, shit. We're going to have so much to talk about.
It's like June.
I know it's June
Star
something.
Trek Light.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're going to have so much to talk about.
And that's Hulu, so they're going to drop weekly. They're not going to drop all at once like Netflix, right?
June 2nd.
Oh, geez, that's this week. That's what, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday?
Oh,
this is crazy. Thursday. You realize that we have episodes of Star Trek proper, episodes of Orville, and episodes of Star Wars. They're all dropping
at the same time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A couple
and
times.
in about a month, we're also going to have Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
well, I'm just saying. A lot of the geekiness is all over the place.
Yeah.
We just had Stranger Things. The 4th season just dropped. Too.
All of it dropped.
I haven't even had time to even look at that yet.
I haven't looked at it yet either. I have not watched Obi-Wan at all. The first episode's out, but I haven't watched it yet. I Obi must. So I'm sure we'll talk about Obi-Wan at some point. I don't know if we'll necessarily have time today, but I'm sure we'll talk about it. I haven't watched it, so I mean, if you guys wanted to talk about it, that's fine, whatever. But I know we've had a couple guys ask us in the live chat, but I will try to make sure I'm up to
keeping
date.
an eye out for Paddington 3, of course.
Yep. I will be up to date with
Dan's
Kenobi,
just like,
Orville, and Trek by next Sunday, and then maybe we can figure out how to talk about that, when to talk about that. So
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Well, I did leave you guys a voicemail, and that's mainly for Daniel's benefit.
Oh no!
Yeah, he had asked a question online. I think it was online. I gave some kind of convoluted answer, so I'll let somebody else get on here. But you're doing great, guys. The show is fantastic. Absolutely love it, and keep up the great work. We all really enjoy it.
Oh, thanks man. Appreciate it. I'll see if I can get this voicemail to play once we get through with the feedback. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Okay, go and mute Gentry and unmute our last live member of the show, Hipster Spock. Lay it on us, man. How's it going?
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me on again. Got a couple of things. I really like Strange New World. You know, I've been very, skeptical about any new Star Trek because of this thing about the wokeness, but it's not okay. It is a little woke, but they don't rub it in your face like disco, which I really appreciate. And the stories are so well thought out. I mean, the story's logic works out. Everything they do has a purpose, and you can see it. They don't just do it because, right? And so that's something that I really appreciate. And they focus on the right things, like the characters and the characterizations, and they show it. They don't just say it, which is wonderful.
Do you think that do you think that the episodic nature helps with that, or would it be better if it's an overall?
Oh my God! It's I love the episodic nature. It like ties everything up, because I think the bad thing about this last season of Picard is that it's like that essay you got to write in college. You have like three pages of good material, but you have to write 10 pages.
Yeah, you have to stretch the shit out.
So then you make Guinan yell for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just filler, and it's. I mean, anybody can make BS sound good, but they just they just had 10 episodes and they need to fill it with something. So okay, but I agree with you, Daniel. Episodic nature of this was like really good thing for them, because they don't have to go through this whole big long story arc. If something works, it works for that one episode. And if something doesn't work, you don't have to go through the whole rest of the season dealing with this stupid premise, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
because if it doesn't work, they can just write it out and just keep move on. Like it's fine. It didn't work.
And you could even have an episode with a stupid premise, but it's still a good episode because of the characters and everything else they're doing, and there's no throwaway setup stupid episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the sake of this one idea, we stretched out to 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was worried about Uhura because she's a little sassy, and it reminds us of another African American lady who's also a little sassy. But
Burnham.
Uhura, it works.
I'm just kidding.
With Uhura, it works because she's got this royalty type of thing with her, so you kind of can forgive her for some of these sassiness. And
she's got that level of sweetness and naivete at the same time that Burnham just can't pull off.
And it also plays into her character because she's new. So like sometimes her sassiness is like she's just doesn't know what's going on yet, so she's just responding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're gonna ask about the flying the villains for the future, I think of the flying pancakes would be good.
Yeah.
Flying pancakes.
To address the Sam Kirk thing.
Oh yeah.
give him a little.
Where's he been? He hasn't been in any of these other episodes so far yet.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
fine.
but I want Guy in the background being a jerk.
I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah, I know.
And he'll be like, "Hey guys, hi."
He'll be in an elevator. I just love this music.
A couple more things. You said something about warp, about Klingons, right? And then I remember this episode of DS9, right, with the Troubles and Tribulations, and Worf gave a little line that says, "Well, yeah, Klingons were like that, but we don't talk about it anymore."
Yeah,
right.
So that's something. And then this little dialogue between Una, Chapel, and Mbenga. You know,
Mbenga,
I found it really amusing. Like we're gonna have to give it to you via IV. Una, do I have a choice? Mbenga, you can decline. Wait for the system to be online. Chapel, we can take bets on when the septic shock would begin. I hear it's like giving birth out of your mouth. Una, who says something like that? Chapel, me.
Yeah.
That was the exchange of the show.
Yeah. She's great, man. They're slowly turning her into Bones, like not McCoy, but like that medical show back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, keep up the great work. It's you guys are doing the Lord's work.
We're doing the Lord's work, and Daniel is a blessing to humanity. I mean,
it's true. It's true. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Gonna go ahead and mute you. Thanks you for your feedback. We really
I would like to
appreciate
say
that.
I'm a humble blessing.
Yeah, humble blessing.
I am a humble blessing to
Sit
you
down.
all.
Be humble.
Indeed.
Okay. That's a. Who is that guy? Kendrick? Is that Kendrick who sings that song? Be humble. Anyway.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. That's what it was.
Mm.
So, but all three excommunicated by the Mormon Church. Thank you, Chaz. All right, so I think that worked good to have the feedback at the end like that.
Yeah,
so
I think it does work.
I think that works for me. I'm good
try
with
this
it.
again.
Let me see if I can get this voicemail to play.
Okay.
Hello, gentlemen.
Oh, here we go.
This is Gentry. Hope you're all doing very well. So you'd ask the question, what game would I play with the cast of Star Trek? So I thought about it, and I think the first one that came to mind was that I'd want to play Monopoly with Worf, because that game is just, it's conflict in and of itself. You're just waiting. No one ever finishes a game of Monopoly. Everybody always gets mad. So I just want to wait for him to like land on a property with high rent, let him feel like it's not fair, have him threaten the property owner, their children, their ancestors, question the person's honor. I think that'd be a blast. Then I'd want to play the card game War with Data, because no matter what the percentages might be, he can't change the outcome. When you play War with a deck of cards, it's pure chance. There's no unfair advantage there. But it would be fun to play Call of Duty with Data, just to dominate everybody. You'd earn everything you possibly could. You'd be MVP every time, totally unstoppable. You'd hit tier 100 in a day, and then you'd just be playing for prestige levels just for the heck of it. It also would be fun to play the board game Risk with Picard. I think it'd be fun to see what strategy he uses and then just try to learn from him. And I'm sure he already knows, don't start a land war in Asia. But anyway, the last game I'd play would be, I would completely and totally want to play Cards Against Humanity with Pike. I can only imagine some of the answers that guy would come up with. I absolutely know there's a little deviant hiding in there. I absolutely know it. Thanks, guys. You are wonderful as always. Love hearing you. Keep up the great work and live long and prosper.
That's excellent.
Great.
That was great.
That's a good list.
That was a hell of a list. Yes. Cards Against Humanity with Pike. Oh, man.
I feel like, though, Monopoly against Quark would be the worst. Like, that would be...
jeez.
You're not winning.
You're not winning.
Yeah.
Or what is the what's the American Gladiator version in TNG? We see Riker play. What is that called?
The ultimate.
Parisi Squares.
Yeah, Parisi Squares.
No, the Ultimate Combat, the one Riker does.
Yeah, it's Parisi Squares though that he does with the pads, right? Isn't that Parisi Square? Yeah. I wouldn't want to play that with Sing. So. I wouldn't want to play that with her. She'd kill you.
No.
You would be toast. You know what's great about this series, Strange New Worlds? It's everything that we just mentioned throughout this entire episode today. The fact that we actually know these characters' names and actually give a shit about them. I still
and it's only been 4 episodes.
And it's only 4 episodes. We're about to have season 5. Season 5 at the end of the year for Disco, and I still don't care about half the people on the crew because we don't know
who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's crazy.
They're doing stuff right.
They finally are. It's a breath of fresh air. It's wonderful. I can't wait to see more. I'm sad that we're already halfway through almost, really. Next week is episode 5. And that's halfway. And that's just because there's 10, I think.
I really hope the actors of Discovery hear these kinds of critiques.
And push.
And go, push. Yeah, because, they're all great actors.
There's nothing. Yeah,
they deserve better.
There's nothing wrong with where Discovery is in terms of its story arc at this point. There's really nothing wrong with them being thrown 1,000 years into the future. There's nothing wrong with the ship. There's nothing wrong with the actual actors who play the characters. Jug Jones is great, and
he is great.
Sonequa Martin Green can act. Okay, she can act. Give them some better freaking lines and some better stories. That's all they need, and they could turn that around. Although I think it's probably their last season, so that's my opinion. That's my
opinion. I have a feeling that's the case.
Why would they keep doing it if Strange New Worlds is just lit on fire? Oh, I almost forgot thinking of that. I have 2 stories to tell you real quick. For this past week, I was in Dallas, I was in Tulsa, I was in Wichita. I was all over the place.
Okay.
2 separate occasions. I had someone refer to either Star Trek to me or in my presence. I've never had that. Never had that. The first one was I was coming out of a facility in Dallas. It had been raining all day, so all the stuff had come out of my hair, and it was just wild like it is right now. And someone looked at me and said, "Man, you got great hair." And I said, "Oh, thanks. It's not as good as Pike's." And they go, "Nope, it's not as good as Pike's, but it's close." He knew exactly what I meant.
Wow.
No, just whatever. It was great. He knew exactly. Not even a split second. So that was the first one. The second one is I'm sitting at a restaurant in Wichita, having lunch, and I hear this whole. There's 6 people at a table behind me. It's a German restaurant, Prost. If you ever in Wichita, go to Prost. Anyway, they're right catty-cordy behind me, and they're having this ongoing conversation and discussion about Trek, and they've all watched Strange New Worlds. A couple of the people at the table say they love Discovery, and they liked it better than they liked Strange New Worlds, and the other half of the table is looking at them like, "You guys are what's wrong with you? What planet are you from? There's no way that Strange New Worlds isn't better than Disco." And this went on for 30, 40 minutes, and I finally just turned around and looked at everybody and said, I've loved hearing you guys' discussion. It's wonderful. I love Strange New Worlds as well. And I told them about the show, and they were like, "Really?" They'd never heard of the show, of course, because who has? So maybe we'll get some new listeners from the folks in Wichita. But that was twice that I heard had someone who knew the reference, because who would know that if they're not watching the show? I mean, I think there's more than just a little bit of buzz in the Trek community about this show. I think it's definitely
there definitely is.
It's definitely hitting a peak. So
yeah, there definitely is. I watch a few different YouTube and podcasts about film and television, and Strange New Worlds is cracking through, and Discovery and Picard hadn't.
No.
So yeah.
Well,
People
it's all
excited.
New. You can come to it brand new. You haven't watched any Trek in your entire life. You can still come to this brand new and get a sense of what's going on. So
yeah. So, which is that's a good reminder for our listeners and viewers. Guys, please spread the show on social media. Let people know about us, because
spread it on YouTube. Make sure you click and subscribe. Make sure you're watching it over there. Yep, the website, the whole 9 yards. Help us grow the show
on the YouTube or it. That helps spread it too. So, absolutely.
And leave us a voicemail. You can call 1-816-287-0448. 816-287-0448. 48. That's the Trekcast voicemail. You will not reach one of us. We're sorry. We don't sit by the phone waiting for you guys. That rings right to a mailbox, but you can leave us a message, and we will probably play it on the show.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep. And of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, trekcasttng, coffee account. Make sure you're. Oh, Eric Woods gave us a donation this week. Almost forgot.
Cool, Eric.
Thank you, sir. And in his donation, he said, "Keep up the good work, boys."
Nice.
Remember, anytime you leave a donation, you can leave a comment, and I'll read that comment to us live on the air. So, and of course,
Eric is one of the friends that we met in person. In Chicago.
Which
was nice. He went to dinner with us. That was great. It was great. I can't wait to do stuff like that. I have to say that really has been the highlight of the last few months for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Me too.
Not to keep talking about it over and over and over again, but
it was great.
Man, what a good time. What a great time.
Yeah.
Meeting you guys, meeting Eric, meeting Scott, Gentry, we met a few others. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, the pictures.
So. Scott, I need more of those. We're gonna raffle those off or give those away or something. So whenever you can, tell me how much I owe you. Give me like 5 of them. I'll buy them.
Yeah.
He just moved into his new house, so
yeah.
Yes, congratulations.
He's probably whatever workshop he has, it's probably not set up yet.
Take him a little bit.
Give him some time.
He's
got to 3D print his workshop.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I've let him know in the past. Wives and kids are great, but you got to set your priorities on this podcast.
Well, like Quark says, greed is eternal.
Yep, greed is eternal. And treat family like employees. Exploit them.
Exactly.
All right, awesome. I guess that's it for this week's episode. We'll see everybody back next week as we listen to review Spock Amok, as well as sounds like Orville, and maybe a little bit of Kenobi. We'll see how much we can fit into one episode. That'll be massive. So,
all right,
sounds great.
All right, we'll see you
thanks,
guys.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we'll get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.